Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about Sundial once more. So Sundial Cannabis, I did make a video about it a while ago, but today we're giving a new update relating towards mainly their earnings. So it's a very key moment in terms of their history, especially with the third quarter 2021 financial results. And also we do have the share repurchase program that they did announce as well, where they're going to be authorizing the repurchase of around $100 million of its outstanding common shares from time to time at a prevailing market price, enabling Sundial opportunistically return value to shareholders. So how does that actually really affect things? So notwithstanding the share purchase amount, Sundial may only purchase a maximum of around $102.8 million shares under the share repurchase agreement, representing approximately 5% of the issued outstanding shares as a date of thereof. So basically this will expire around November 19th, 2022 and will commence on November 19th, 2021. So the meaning of all this is that when you're taking a look into the company itself and you're taking a look into price over book, price over sales, market cap, that kind of thing, they're taking $100 million worth of the stock out of the market to increase the value, or basically think about it where it's a reverse offering. They offer shares, they dilute the amount of shares available. Now, when they repurchase shares, they're doing the opposite. They're taking shares away, and it's out of trading or out of the investments lounges, and basically the market cap then becomes more concentrated per stock price rather than it being distributed among larger amount of shares. Hopefully that did not confuse you. But also Sundial reported a third quarter 2021 financial results and operations results. So right on to here, you're able to see that the third quarter 2021 operations and investments highlights, including net earnings of $11.3 million for the third quarter of 2021 compared to $71.4 million loss in the third quarter in the prior year. So it's a really nice jump. It's around 80 million jump. Remember, one is net earnings, the other one is net loss. And adjusted EBITDA of around $10.5 million for the third quarter of 2021 compared to an adjusted EBITDA loss of $4.4 million in the third quarter of 2020. So a really nice improvement there. A net revenue from cannabis segments of around $14.4 million for the third quarter of 2021 results, increase of around 57% over the second quarter of 2021 and an increase of 12% over the third quarter of 2020. Also, cannabis cultivation and production, so net revenues for the cultivation and production of cannabis was $8.2 million compared to $9.2 million in the previous years, a decline of around 11% of cannabis retail. Net revenues for cannabis retails was around $6.1 million following the acquisition of Inner Spirit Holdings and the Spirit Leaf retail network during the third quarter. Now, the gross margins from cannabis segments was around $1.8 million, including a loss of around $1.9 million from cannabis cultivation and production compared to a loss of $19.5 million from that segment in the third quarter of 2020. Investments in fee revenues of $3.3 million realized gains on marketable securities of $6.0 million, and Sundial's share profit from equity accounted investees of around $9.9 million for the third quarter of 2021 compared to nil in the third quarter of the prior year. Now, currently they have around $1.1 billion of cash and marketable securities and long-term investments at September 30th, 2021, and $1.2 billion on November 9th, 2021. So that is compared to $571 million of unrestricted cash and non-outstanding debt. And that is a massive jump of amount of money. Remember, they do have different investments, so they're investing into the cannabis industry within the States and Canada and outside North America. Now, they also acquired Alacana Incorporations, and they do have this thing where they keep acquiring different companies as a part of their massive amount of cash that I did refer to earlier. in earlier videos. So here, Alcanna, which is trading on the TSX under CLIQ, so it's going under a pursuant, which Sundial will acquire all issued and outstanding shares of Alcanna by way of statutory plan of arrangements for total consideration of approximately $346 million. And you're able to see here that they have over 25 years of experience retailing regulation products. Alcanna is Canada's largest private liquor retailer, operating 171 locations, mainly in Alberta, under 3 main retail location brands, so Wine and Beyond, Liquor Depot, and Ace Liquor. Alcanna strategic partners, in which holdings is approximately 63% equity interest. Nova Cannabis Incorporation is one of the largest cannabis retailers, offering a wide range of high-quality cannabis products at value price. Nova currently operates 62 stores in Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Ontario, primarily under Value Buds and Nova Cannabis banners. So those are some of the massive updates for this company. This was back in October 7th, 2021, but then the next updates come almost a month later with the 2 November 11th news. Now, before moving on forward, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. Also, you can drop a like if you've actually enjoyed this video, and you can join our Discord if you'd like in the description below. Now, the last thing I do want to talk about here is just a quick comparison in terms of everything from December 31st, 2020 to September 30th, 2021. So first off, in terms of assets, you see a massive increase in terms of assets and the non-current assets. You're looking from around $300 million to around $1.5 billion of Canadian dollars. So that is quite massive on its own. Total liabilities increased a little bit. I mean, it's 4 times, but in terms of ratio, you're still able to see a really massive total assets compared to total liabilities. Now, on the other side, we're able to see, and we're comparing here 3 months ending September 30th, of 2021 compared to 2020, we're able to see that loss from operations was only around $18.8 million this 3 months ending September 30th, compared to around $90 million. And when we're looking at the net income, we're seeing income tax recovery. We've hit around $10 million additional, and income before tax or income tax was adjusted by right here, change in estimate of fair value of derivative warrants. And we're able to see, for the first time in forever, a net income of around 11.3 million compared to a net loss of around 71 million. So it does look like it's a very bullish move. It's really recovering nicely in terms of getting net incomes on track, but it's still got room to grow, because the biggest part of getting from that loss from operations to the net income or income before income tax, we're able to see here is a change in estimates of fair value of derivatives warrants. So that doesn't happen doesn't happen every time. It happens every now and then. So we got to be very careful, because the next quarter, if they keep everything except a change in estimate of fair value, this company would be in a net loss. Now, in terms of institutional buyers, we're able to see some names leaving and some coming back. So Credit Suisse liquidated, JP Morgan Chase liquidated, CIBC World Markets liquidated 63%, WMS Partners liquidated the entire position. Hilton Capital Management added around 23% of their position. Perennial Investment Advisors liquidated 50%. Renaissance Technologies 92%. Hightower added around 8.7%. And Cube Research and Technologies liquidated the entire position. And all that, by the way, happened on the 12th. So you're able to see a massive amount of changes in positions on the last week, or just in the last week. So let's move on now towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, I'm only going to touch upon a few things. First off, the moving averages really went from bearish to bullish. For instance, the 10 SMA is now above the 30 EMA, and the price point poked into the 200 SMA on the last trading session. This is expected with this massive jump going all the way from around 69 cents to around $1. The average directional index suggests that this is a movement. This is kind of getting on the borderline to picking good amount of momentum. Momentum is actually one of the highs it's been, and the MACD is very critical. It's going very bullish, but the willing percent R, which is very similar to the RSI, suggests that this one is overbought, considering there's a lot more buying activity than selling. Now, in terms of Stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are kind of pinpointing a bit upwards, suggesting though to be very careful because you can easily see a struggle off a resistance mainly around the 96 cents level if it does get close to there again, and the support is a little bit further down to around the 89 cents level. Now on the moving average bands, there's nothing much to show. Now it's starting to curve upwards, which is a good thing. Volumes have been really high. So it's one of the highest it's been ever since the 11th of February, where it really struck all the way to $4. But the last time it was this high, it would probably be back in June, where it's seen a bit of a jump and then really declined on the day after. Now, in terms of Fibonacci retracements, we're able to see significant resistances and supports. Resistances are 95 cents, 105, 116, 130, and 149. Supports are at 82 cents and 61 cents. Now on a price line action, we're able to see some critical lines. For instance, first off, that 96 cents level resistance is very hard to break, then to $1, then to 105, then up to 111, then to 122, 129, and then 138. Remember, it does need to stay above $1 in order to have compliance. If it doesn't, it does really risk the risk of a reverse split. Or it does risk that a reverse split is never good for a stock. It really drops the stock price. 91 cents is the next support, then 88 or 89, then down to 83, 80 cents, downwards to 76 cents, and then downwards to 71, going to 67, and down to 64. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think is going to happen here? Well, first off, there's two aspects of this. There's the fundamentals, and there is mainly towards momentum. In terms of fundamentals, the stock is definitely seeing a really nice improvement with a repurchase program, in addition towards them hitting a record with a net profit than a net loss and really showing a massive improvement. That's all in the good direction. Their fundamentals, of course, improve, but it really takes almost an entire yearly perspective average to consider those fundamentals to improve. A lot of these are in TTM, which is based on a yearly perspective rather than a quarterly perspective. And the other part, yes, there is an improvement, but the reason why they have the net profit was the differences with their warrants derivatives. So you got to be very careful onto that because you might not see the net profits in the fourth quarter of 2021, but hopefully they're able to improve their incomes in order to see those net profits. Now, I'm very cautious with Sundial because it did have high volatility historically speaking. And this stock can easily hurt you, but for the time being, looks like volume is pinpointing in the right direction. What do you think is going to happen here? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps. We just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.